Girls, welcome to EO.
A show where we provide our thoughts and opinions that no one asked for on trailers that, again, no one asked for.
This is Entertainment Overload.
Welcome back, Royals. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Bo Traxler.
And I'm Miaretta, and today we're actually going to be looking at the trailer for Little Nightmares 3.
Let's take a look at that now. Got a lot to say, don't you?
Oh, I do have a lot to say. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm actually kind of dressed as Mono from the second Little Nightmares.
And I'm doing a very poor matching of that.
Yes. But I love this game series, and I honestly think that we need more games like it. The art style. Let's talk about the vibe of that.
Every time. How many episodes have we done so far, and how many art style counters have we had?
Now that we have that out of the way, the art style in this is beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't say anything.
I love the little art. It's like it's a plan. It's a
yeah.
plan.
I like that. I really like the art style. Yeah. I was also.
But now that we have that out of the way, like I've also done for Arcane, the art style is beautiful.
Absolutely. That's what I loved about the first game.
The art style. Let's talk about the vibe of that. This might be the third one. I could have done an art style counter for all of them, but let's be so real here. Arcane was the only one where I was like, art style. This is another one where I'm like, art style. I want to eat this art style. It's going to give me food poisoning, but.
To be fair, you brought up art style.
I did. Why? Because all of these have such distinct art styles, and I love them all. Because, okay, I'm kind of a hypocrite. I do judge books by their covers, and that also means I judge video games based off of their art styles, because if I don't like the art style, I'm not going to enjoy putting hours worth of effort into it. So
that's true, but I feel like there's a lot of cases in which it's like, okay, well, this is like low poly kind of.
Oh, for sure.
It's like a great game.
Oh, for sure. And then there are some that have like amazing graphics, and yet they're the worst games on earth. I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking of. Anyway, but yeah, no. Little Nightmares 3 in specific has such a like spooky feel to it, which is really why I wanted to do this for Halloween. Also because of my costume. But. No, I love the eeriness of it, and I love how it's so cute and yet deadly. It's literally those like, don't get too close to this. This will not end well for you.
I feel like the two Little Nightmares games before this kind of play with like, you have a childlike innocence going into horrors beyond comprehension. You know?
Definitely. It is it's like a parallel between childhood and entering into the real world. Actually, I don't know if you've played either of the first two.
I've watched playthroughs for both. I haven't played it myself.
Great. I am really looking forward to whether they're going to have like chase scenes like they used to, whether they're going to have these like hands grabbing at you. I don't know if any of you saw in that second game with the prosthetics, and they're all like coming towards you. It's a very like, don't play it at 3 a.m. like I did. So, but with that, I actually do want to look onto the next part real quick.
looking at it, obviously we have 2 brand new characters that we're gonna really play around with. The setting overall, very different from the first 2 games. This is like very clearly desert. This is very dry, which is very big contrast from like being on the boat in the first game.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. My favorite thing about especially the first one, because that one I can speak about the most. The first one has a lot to say, like commentary wise, and about the adults in that world and everything, and like overconsumption, greed, stuff like that.
Yes.
Do you think it's gonna do something similar or touch on something different?
I think it'll do something similar because like nearly every single one of Little Nightmares games in specific have that kind of like, yes, this is a silly little game, but also we're going to talk about something kind of serious and we're going to make you realize that we're talking about this. I think they're going to keep with that theme anyways. I don't know if it's going to be so much about the like overconsumption. From what I saw in the trailer, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more of like, this is what working life does. This is what toiling is, day after day. I do really like, because at some point you see warm colors being introduced to us. You barely see any of those in Little Nightmares 1
No,
and 2.
I clocked that immediately. I was like, whoa,
You're
that's
like,
different.
orange? What are you doing here? That's a little wild.
I think the like working life concept that you brought up is interesting, especially because like there's a much bigger world that is being built in this series. I'm not totally familiar with it. I couldn't tell you that much about it, but I know that they're trying to say like, this is the world that it's in, this is the type of stuff that's going on, this is the lore for it. And one of the things is like in the first one, isn't it like a bunch of at least wealthy people and they just get to consume, and it's all their greed getting to them that kind of turns them into these monsters?
Yeah, okay, so the first one is a little bit more like, the first one is a little bit more like, oh, life sucks. Life in general just kind of sucks. And then the second one plays more into that greed and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I actually am really looking forward to what the moral of this is going to be, and like our new friends are so cute. They're so adorable. I really need them to have that like press this button to hold hands again, because I love doing that in Little Nightmares too. With that said, speaking of adorable, I want to go on to our shout out, which is one of my personal favorites. Again, I'm sorry, this episode is really centered around me, but it's fun. So for this one, we're actually going to take a look at one of my favorite games, Hollow Knight, which is a 2D side-scroller platformer with a lot of challenging combat and a lot of challenging parkour and countless hours of you wanting to rip your hair out. But it's all worth it in the end, and honestly, it is one of the funnest games I've ever played. So let's take a look at that now. I love this game. I love this game so much.
Do you know the game Ori in the Blind Forest?
So I've heard of it. I haven't yet played it. I did, like, there are so many people who say that it's very like Hollow Knight.
It is. The style, like the art style is different, and it's not, I don't know, I haven't fully played Hollow Knight, but it's not the same story. I've played Ori all the way through, and it's one of my favorite games ever. And it just reminds me of that. I think it's a similar mechanic in the gameplay and everything.
It's also, it's so cute.
It's cute.
So cute. Like,
it's spooky. It's a little dark for spooky season, but, you know, it's cute.
And I love, like, specifically with Hollow Knight, there's so much lore that you can get into for that. Silksong, like, as I promise you, as soon as we hear news about Silksong, we will be the first ones to let you know, because I need that thing to be out, like, 12 years ago. And also, can we talk about, Hollow Knight was made by 3 people.
That's insane.
For the quality that it is, oh dear, it makes me question what I'm doing with my life. But that's kind of besides the point. Real quickly, with the Little Nightmares. So, spoiler alert. I'm gonna say this before. Spoiler alert. For specifically the second game. You all clicked off? Great. So, Mono, like, falls down because 6 lets go of him. And then he turns into the really tall Hat Man and everything. And one of the scenes in particular, I was looking into some stuff, and some people were like, I wonder if this scene in particular with kind of the throne is going to be the Hat Man again. And I'm like, that's actually a really good point. I don't know whether we're going to see him, which also, like, raises the question, is this before? Is this after Little Nightmares 2?
Yeah.
Is this before? Is this after Little Nightmares 1?
Is this occurring at the same time? Just different places?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to see some of the characters we've seen before? Are we going to have our little, like, gnome friends? Are we going to have them? like, what's going to happen here? Because Little Nightmares 2 came out, and that's a prequel to Little Nightmares. So where is this in the sequence? I'm sure I could have looked this up, and I'm sure it would have told me, but ignore that. Well, I'm just theorizing right now.
We're encouraging you to do your own research.
Have fun, especially because this game comes out in 2025. You have plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of, let's roll the rest of that trailer.
All right, that was the rest of our trailer.
Oh, the little guys and the little animation underneath the Little Nightmares, and it's so cute.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts? I cannot wait for this game to play out. I have religiously played the first 2. I haven't played the mobile game because I don't really care about the mobile game. But I've played Little Nightmares 1 and I've played Little Nightmares 2, and I honestly cannot wait for this one to come out. I don't know whether it was like when this was first getting released or something, but I heard that this is going to be the last one, and I'm a little bit sad about that. So I really hope this ends off with like a bang. I'm seeing a bunch of themes from the first 2. I'm seeing those scenes of like, you have to run. You have to run. Your anxiety is going to be pounding. And honestly, that's what I love about this game, because if you're not like anxious out of your mind, then really what are you doing? Like, this is not the game for you. But I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think, at least I'm hoping, it's kind of going to take a direction as the first 2 games and touch on kind of this motif of like the 7 deadly sins kind of thing, right? It kind of touches on like the vices, right?
The only thing I will say is that this one in particular, Little Nightmares 3, doesn't seem to have as much of like symbolism with eyes as which makes me really wonder, because the first 2 have a lot to do with eyes and a lot to do with like the only way that I can really describe it, especially to those of you who haven't played it, is like deities of these are the people that hold the most power within this universe, and there's one all-seeing deity that gives that power to each of these things. Is this happening in basically that same universe? Because you have this universe where like everything is kind of going horrible except for these 2 kids, but is it going to be the same as it has been for Little Nightmares 1 and 2? Are there going to be those deities? Is there going to be that like higher power? Are they going to be watched at every moment like we knew we were in Little Nightmares 1 and 2?
I'm really curious to see where they take the story with this, but from this trailer, unfortunately, we can't really piece much of it together.
Which is unfortunate.
But it's, you know what? I respect them. They're not giving a whole lot away. It's just like, here's the very basic foundation. Do with that what you will.
Which means that when we play it, we're honestly going to have no clue what we're jumping into. And honestly,
that's how horror should be.
It excites me even more, honestly. I mean, we're the next episode that we're going to air is The Heretic. That was a horror movie trailer. That gave some stuff away, but not like it gave more away than this, and I'm more excited for this. But that's also because I really like this franchise. So I'm a little bit biased.
I'm excited for the movie.
I'm excited for the movie. I'm just more excited for this, which is unfortunate. Again, it comes out in 2025. I have to wait just a little bit longer, but I'm really excited. I really want to see what direction they take it. I really want to see what they base this around, like what their cautionary tale is, because we've gotten a cautionary tale with every other one. I mean, there was vanity, there was greed, there was grossness overall.
Nasty.
So I'm really excited for what's to come, and I'm really excited to play this. I'm probably going to play it on my PlayStation, and I'm going to have a great time, and you will not hear from me until I finish the game and also platinum it. So goodbye world as soon as this comes out. I'm really excited. You should play the second one, and then we'll play the third one.
Okay.
I win.
I'll see.
Yes.
No promises.
That's so sad. But no, I'm just excited for this. I'm just really excited. This was one of my hyperfixations for a little bit, and it was really fun. Anyway, so with that, thank you so much to our amazing viewers. I hope this has been as entertaining to watch as it was to make, and I'm Miranda.
And I'm Bo Traxler, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on another episode of Entertainment. Hope to see you again.
This has been Entertainment Overload.
I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. And I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me, and I feel like something's gonna give. And I'm a little bit